Good evening, Virgo. Something is happening to this person right now. Something they did not see coming. Something that arrived in a form they were not prepared for, in a size that exceeded what they had been bracing for. And I want to describe it to you in as much detail as I can, because I think you need to understand what is happening on their side right now in real time. Welcome and pay close attention, because this is about them, but it is ultimately about you. They are speechless. I want to describe what that looks like from the inside of their experience, because speechless is not just the absence of words, it is a specific state that arrives when something exceeds the capacity of language to respond to it immediately. When what has happened, or what has been felt, or what has been realized is larger than the available vocabulary in the immediate moment of impact. They are in that state right now. In the particular quiet of someone who has been hit by something that they were not fully prepared to be hit by, even though they knew on some level that this was coming. The knowing and the actual landing of something are two entirely different experiences. And what is landing? Is landing in a form that the knowing did not fully prepare them for. I want to tell you what is hitting them, because I think understanding the specific content of the impact will help you understand where they are and what is coming from them. As a result of this, what is hitting them is you, not in a vague sense, not the idea of you, not a general awareness of your existence in their life, but the specific, particular, full reality of who you are and what you mean, and what it would mean to not have you, or to have handled things with you the way they have been handling things, without changing anything, without doing something different, without reaching before the reach becomes impossible. That specific realization has arrived all at once with a force they were not anticipating. Even if they thought they understood the situation, even if they believed they had it managed emotionally, the actual weight of it is different from the managed version of it. And the actual weight just landed. I want to describe the specific moment of impact, because there was a specific moment, a particular thing that happened, or was said, or was seen, or was simply felt, that broke through whatever was keeping their feelings at a manageable distance and delivered them directly in the full unmediated form that management had been preventing. Maybe it was something you said, something that arrived without editing, that had a particular quality of truth to it, that reached a place in them that carefully crafted things do not reach, because carefully crafted things hit the management first, and the management intercepts them before they can land somewhere real. But something unedited, something real, gets through. Maybe it was something you did, or something you did not do. The particular way you moved or did not move in a situation where most people would have moved differently. The specific quality of how you are. When you are simply being yourself without awareness of being observed, that revealed something to them about who you actually are at a depth they had not yet accessed. Or maybe it was simply an absence. The experience of you not being there in a moment where your absence was felt with a specific and undeniable weight. That told them something more clearly than any presence could have about how much space you take up in their life. Even when you are not physically in it, whatever the specific moment was, it cracked something open in them. And what came through the crack is the full volume of what they feel without the management, without the careful distance, without the strategies that had been keeping everything at a level they could handle. The full volume, unmanaged, is significant, more significant than they were prepared for. Hence the speechless, hence the harder than expected. I want to speak now about what they are realizing, because the impact is not just emotional, it is also cognitive, a specific clarity arriving about things they thought they understood that they are now seeing differently. In the light of what just hit them, they are realizing how much they have been taking for granted, not in a casual, unconscious way, but in the specific way that people take for granted. The things that are most reliably present, the things that have always been there, without requiring effort or attention to continue being there. And that, therefore, get moved to the background of daily awareness, while attention goes to the things that are louder or more urgent or more obviously demanding. You have been in that background, reliable, present, taken for granted in the specific way of something so consistent that its absence was never fully imagined until now, when the imagination of it or the proximity to it has produced this speechless realization of what they have been moving past without fully seeing. They are also realizing how much time they have spent managing feelings that did not want to be managed, how much energy went into keeping what they feel for you at a level they could function beside, rather than be overwhelmed by. The exhaustion of that management is becoming visible to them now. In the wake of the management failing, in the wake of the full volume arriving anyway, despite everything they did to keep it contained, they are realizing that the containment was always temporary. That something of this size does not stay contained indefinitely. That it was always going to find its way out through some crack in the management at some moment they were not fully braced for, and that this is that moment, and they are in the middle of the finding out. I want to speak about what comes next, because the impact, the speechless realization, the harder than expected landing, is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a new movement in it. And I want you to understand what that movement is so you can receive it correctly. When it arrives in your direction, what happens after impact is integration, the period where what just hit someone gets absorbed, processed, organized into something they can do something with, rather than simply being in the middle of experiencing. This person is in the impact phase right now, the speechless immediate phase, where the fullness of it is still arriving, and nothing has been done with it yet because there has not been time, or because the size of it has temporarily suspended the capacity to act. But the integration is coming. And with the integration, something else, a decision, or a reaching, or a movement toward you, that is shaped by the clarity that impact always produces when what it hits is something real and significant. Rather than surface, they are going to do something with this. The question is not whether they will, the question is when and in what form, and whether you will be positioned to receive it fully. When it comes, I want to come back to you now, because you are the reason any of this matters. And I want to say something about your role in what has just happened to them and why it is significant. You did not engineer this. You did not orchestrate the impact. You did not position yourself to hit them this hard, deliberately or strategically, or with the intention of producing the speechless realization that they are currently in the middle of. You simply were yourself in the particular and specific way that you are yourself. That happens to hit people harder than they expect. Not because you are performing something, but because what you are, when you are not performing anything, has a particular weight to it, a particular realness that the managed and curated versions of most interactions do not have. And that reaches people in the places that management cannot protect. You reached those places in this person without trying, which is precisely why it hit harder than they expected, because they were prepared for what you might do on purpose. They were not prepared for what you do simply by existing in your most ordinary form. I want to say something now about what you do while you wait for them to integrate this and move through the speechless phase and arrive at the action that follows it. Continue being exactly who you are, not a more careful version, not a version designed to extend the impact or to follow up on the realization they are having with something calculated to deepen it, not a version that tries to manage what they are feeling or help them integrate it faster or slow it down or direct it anywhere in particular. Just you, as you are doing what you do, living your life, being present in it without adjusting anything to accommodate what is happening on their side. Because the thing that hit them was you being exactly that, and more of the same is what the situation needs from your side right now. Let me close by telling you what I see coming. On the other side of their speechless realization, because I want you to be ready, not braced, ready. Someone who has just been hit harder than expected by something real does one of two things. They retreat from the source of the impact, or they move toward it. This person's going to move toward you. Not because I am choosing the optimistic interpretation, but because of the specific quality of what I see in their energy. The impact is not producing fear in them. It is producing clarity. And clarity about something this significant almost always produces movement in the direction of what was clarified. They are going to reach towards you in whatever form is available to them, at whatever speed they are capable of. In the integration phase that follows the speechless one, they are going to reach. Whew. When they do, receive the reaching with the full knowledge of what it cost them to be hit this hard and to move toward the source of the impact rather than away from it. That takes something in a person that not everyone has. And they have it. This person, because they are moving toward you. Even now, even while the speechless is still settling, something in them is already oriented in your direction. Meet them there.